All right, welcome back. It's time for us to get into the news review segment. And today we're going to be looking at some stories making headlines in the papers. Now we have a fight against corruption, some more Nekwe Tete, but by GLC for collecting 400,000 Ghana cedis from Woyome. Now the Republic Press says here, Woyome is mad at GLC, threatens legal battle as he rejects bribery allegations. So we'll get into that story. Also, Baumia to announce his campaign team this week. And then poor road infrastructure. Quite a number of papers carrying that. We have from the Anchor, we have the Ghanaian Times, all carrying the story. 150 million Ghana cedis to patch potholes. Is it enough? Or is it a little too little, too late? Well, we're going to delve into those stories. But let me introduce my guest to you this morning. I have joining me on the set this morning, I have with me the Executive Director for ASEPA, the Alliance for Social Equity and Public Accountability, Mensa Thompson, as well as Jeffrey Kapute Okansi. He is the Executive Director for Revenue Mobilization Africa. Gentlemen, you are both welcome to breakfast.
Thank you. A very good morning to all of you.
How you doing?
And then let me quickly use this opportunity to say a happy birthday to my brother Duncan Amoah. Today is his birthday.
Duncan Amoah?
Yes.
Happy birthday to you.
Yes.
Yeah.
And to add that he's married. He's a married man. Happily married man. Mr. Duncan Amoah.
Yeah.
We wish you all the best, many years. He's 43 years old today.
Oh, he's a young man.
Yeah.
Very, very young.
Yeah. God has blessed him, to be where he is at this age. And,
Duncan, good morning.
Yes.
Happy birthday to you.
We want to celebrate his contribution to the petroleum industry.
Yeah, COPEC.
He's been very vibrant in terms of advocacy in the space, and especially for us consumers.
Yeah.
They've been fighting for us. He's led the charge and always making sure that you and I could buy fuel at reasonable prices.
Yeah.
And that is the man we are celebrating today on such a special day. So Duncan, on this day, we want to say a big happy birthday to you.
All right. Fantastic.
Yeah. A very good morning to our viewers, to you wonderful gentlemen.
I wanted to ask, why did he say that Duncan is married? Why did
Yes,
he have to add
he's
that
married.
Duncan is married?
I posted his picture and the girls were saying he was handsome. So
you have to declare.
I just want to put on record that he's married and a very faithful husband.
Right.
Very, very faithful.
So he's so
You
taken.
should stop all those comments. He doesn't like that at all.
The streets have heard you. He's so taken. But talking about Duncan, it's also important to say that over the weekend, fuel prices went up.
Yes.
I think Ghanaians have become numb with some of the issues. Some time ago, it was actually periodical. Like, you could see fuel rise quarterly or maybe during a half or annually. But this time around, it hit us so much that now when actually fuel prices go up, you don't really see people making a big deal of it. So, talking about Duncan, happy birthday, but also look at our 3% or something increment and see if you can do something, But then I also heard about the late reshuffle. It's late in the day, but sometimes better late than never. Because you remember at the start of this year, in one of our discussions, I mentioned that I am still hopeful that if the president decides to do something about some of the things you said, the last run is enough. Because a lot of the things we are talking about is just about plucking and saying, look, you come out, you stay in. This thing, we're not going to continue with this expenditure again. I'm cutting it. Look, Magafuli just cut the celebration of Independence Day.
Yes.
And the next effect was that hospitals had beds and people were sleeping in hospital beds. So it takes some quick runs and you can do it. And Manchester United won by 2-1. So it's been a weekend of watch and smile.
Yeah, for me, in terms of the reshuffle, it's garbage in, garbage out. Garbage in, garbage out. My key expectation was that there was going to be a streamline of the ministries.
Right.
So, for example, if you remove somebody from a ministry and replace the person, and you take the person to the presidency, what have you done? And
Actually,
especially,
in a certain sense, it looks as if the budget would increase because there seems to be some new people would have come in to join some of the,
yes,
you know.
and I move old people to the presidency, especially with that of Ken Oforiatta. You know, you move the guy from finance ministry, now you make him advisor at the presidency.
But he's not the only one.
But
some of it looked like a demotion, though.
To still,
some look like a demotion.
Really?
To still,
like if you were a national security chief and you actually go to the seat of government as an advisor, I mean, minister of state.
But advisor is above.
Well,
the security chief.
Oh, really?
Oh.
If you have a whole ministry manager.
I mean, when if you're in a Jubilee House.
But what informed the decision? What informed the decision to take Kojo Oponkroma to housing?
Works in housing.
Yes. And what informed the decision to take a Japamesa to creative arts?
I'm even thinking Kojo will still maybe
they will explain to us. Are they going to go to Parliament?
I was thinking.
Are they going to go to Parliament?
I was at the program when the Vice President spoke last week.
They're supposed to be vetted in Parliament, right?
Yes, they will be. Okay. They'll be vetted.
Yes.
They'll be vetted.
And the presidency, there's also the legal bit with the presidency trying to reassign ministers when they know that it's a whole new appointment and must be subject to parliamentary approval. Yeah. And they are trying to use the back door to prevent some of the ministers from attending.
Like the Minister of Finance?
Yes. No, for going to vetting. For example, some people were deputy ministers who have been
like, is it the Minister
appointed.
of Finance? He was the deputy?
Yeah, the current minister.
The current minister.
Yes.
He's a deputy, so it's more like...
Who have been appointed as ministers.
Right.
And the Constitution is very clear. As soon as the president revokes your appointment and appoints you again,
you need to
it's a whole new appointment. You must be vetted and subject to the parliamentary procedure.
Anyway.
And so any attempt to sidestep those things will also not be countenanced. We are willing to challenge this.
I hope the Ghanaian processes won't stop where we want like quick work and then maybe this process of vetting and maybe changeovers. I think they should be very real quick about it.
I think so. We don't have time, so
let's see some action.
Anyway, let's get right into the stories for today. We want to start with the Woyome mad at the GLC. Now, the story here basically is someone, Nekwe Tete, has been barred by the GLC for collecting 400,000 Ghana cedis from Woyome. Now, businessman, and then the story is from the Republic Press. I'm going to read it. It's on page 3 of the paper. The businessman, Fred Agbeshi Woyome, has announced his intention to take legal action against the General Legal Counsel for disqualifying former Chief State Attorney Samuel Nekwe Tete in his case related to the 51 million Waterville judgment debt. Now, Woyome, a central figure in the case, believes that the council's decision constitutes contempt of court and is aimed at him. And now, he argues that the previous judicial decisions have cleared him and others involved in the contract of any wrongdoing. Now, Nekwe Tete's license was revoked after he was found to have breached professional and conduct standards in the legal profession. Now, in response to the council's decision, Woyome expressed his disappointment and maintained that the 400,000 Ghana cedi transfer to Nekwe Tete's wife was purely for humanitarian purposes through his foundation, Wilme Foundation for Africa. Now, he stated, "Thank God that we have got all the judgments. I pledge on my honor that I will remain very active to make sure that the institution of government do the right thing." Woyome confirmed his plans to take the General Legal Counsel to court in the coming week to address the situation. "We will pursue GLC and the AG for them to stop what they're doing. Nekwe Tete's wife's money that I sent to her was on the basis of what I do at WOFA, that's the Wilme Foundation for Africa. I pay fees and pay other things for many people across the whole African country." That's what he says. I don't know whether it's Ghana or African continent. He said, "When I work, that is what I use my money for, philanthropy," he explained. So that's the story here. Let me start with you, Mr. Thompson. Where are we going with this? I thought this issue was dead and buried. Now, someone has been disbarred. Is it a case of sour grapes? Is it witch hunting? Is it something that's above board? I don't know what you make of what's going on here.
Yes, thank you very much, and good morning to our viewers once again. First of all, I don't know what is this government's obsession with this Woyomi case. I've followed this case for quite a while, and as an anti-corruption activist, it's one of the cases I took serious interest in. And as activists and as think tanks, what we do basically is that we don't follow the hefty propaganda on the streets, but we like to dig into the issues and find out whether indeed there is cause for advocacy to ensure that the interest of the state is protected, or whether we need to activate our human rights aspect of the advocacy. And in respect of the Woyomi case, I think that there's a huge injustice that have been perpetrated over time, which for me and for us at ASEPA, it's very, very, very unfair. And it's inimical to the fight against corruption itself, because you don't want to muddy the waters. Corruption is a very serious issue, and so if you want to fight it, you need to set clear standards. You need to ensure, that proper procedures are adhered to. You need to ensure that principles of natural justice, fair hearing, and all those things are properly adhered to, so that when we are punishing people, we know that the state has taken the necessary steps to ensure that all the right things are being done. Now, what is this whole disbarment of Nekwe about? I want to say that the decision taken by the GLC was extremely unfair and capricious.
Why?
You remember when this Woyomi case broke? Alfred Woyomi was arrested by the state. Iyoko led the charge in the investigation. Iyoko led the prosecution. Now, Iyoko did their preliminary investigations, which they indicted Alfred Woyomi, they indicted Nekwe Tete, and a few others. The case went for trial at the High Court. When the case got to the High Court, after scrutinizing all the evidence before it, came to the conclusion that neither Woyomi or Nekwe Tete or any other official was guilty of any offense of defrauding by false pretense, of causing financial loss to the state, of collusion. All those, allegations were cleared at the High Court.
Okay.
It subsequently went to the Court of Appeal. The Court of Appeal also upheld the decision of the High Court. And so, both Alfred Woyomi and Nekwe Tete has been cleared by the High Court and the Court of Appeal of any wrongdoing. And in fact, in the High Court and Court of Appeal decision, the Court of Appeal have said that all officials, government officials, who worked on the Woyomi case were responsible, did due diligence, and ensured that they did not violate their professional responsibilities. And if you allow me, I would like to read portions of what the Court of Appeal and the High Court have said in this matter.
Okay.
Just briefly, so that our viewers can understand. So if you read here, this is the High Court judgment dated 12th day of March 2015. And this is the High Court saying that it is my considered view, given the complexity of the work involved, that securing the financing in question, that the claim of 2%, that the money was paid Alfred, was due legitimate. My Lord, the Attorney General, who was new in office and lacked the institutional history of events that had already taken place, believed various misrepresentations made by the accused persons, and thus took it upon herself to push for monies being claimed by the accused to be paid. 1. I think that the submission is not born out of evidence on record. The head of Legal and Finance Ministry wrote his view justifying the payment. There were other persons who met to deliberate on the petition. The decision was not wholly taken by the then minister, Honorable Betimo Dedresu. So, if this is the High Court speaking, that the then Attorney General, Honorable Betimo Dedresu, did not unilaterally take a decision to pay monies to Mr. Woyome. And that she took steps, did background checks. And so if the Attorney General, who was the final person who wrote a legal opinion advising the government on this matter, was not, convicted or was not, was cleared of any wrongdoing, how then does a subordinate who works under him, a subordinate who works under him, now being indicted? Now, the report the General Legal Counsel based on to take the decision was the Iyoko investigation report, which this High Court and the Court of Appeal have set aside. And so, the entire activity done by the General Legal Counsel was extremely sub judice, because the High Court, after scrutinizing all the evidence available before it, at the Court of Appeal, justices scrutinized all the evidence available before it, came to a decision that there was no wrongdoing. And in fact, the evidence they scrutinized included the payment of 400,000 Ghana cedis by Alfred Woyome to Mr. Nekwetete's wife, which the evidence on record suggested that it was a loan, there was a contract on the money. In fact, at the time of the investigation, there were evidence that Mrs. Nekwe had started paying back the money to Alfred Woyome.
I see.
And so, how then does the General Legal Counsel then, with this evidence and the decision of the Court of Appeal and the High Court, come back 12 years down the line to say that they've taken a decision to disbar Mr. Nekwetete? For me, it's extremely unfair, it's unjust, and I'm surprised that lawyers in this country are quiet. Now, if you look at the procedural aspect of this matter, it begs a lot of questions. First of all, the General Legal Counsel failed woefully to consider the closing address by the accused, Mr. Nekwetete. They failed to consider the witness statement by Mr. Alfred Woyome, who is an interested party, because if you're alleging bribery, there's a giver and a taker. And so if you convict the taker, definitely it's an indictment on the giver. Wrote, in fact, provided evidence to the General Legal Counsel, which was not also considered. And so it was clearly set out that the General Legal Counsel set out to achieve one aim in mind, and they just went to take a decision to disbar or to punish Mr. Nekwetete. I mean, which is a clear foul, the principle of double jeopardy. Look, do you know that it was the Attorney General that went to court to file a nolle prosequi on the case against Nekwetete? And so, you see, the contradictions of the state's position in this matter, the principles of natural justice, which has been clearly violated, by the General Legal Counsel, and the obsession, and the General Legal Counsel being used as a tool. If you look at the statement, the General Legal, I've read the judgment on this Nekwetete case, and for me, as a student of the law, this is frivolous. Now, look at the statement issued by the General Legal Counsel. I mean, if you take a decision, you've sat on the case, all the General Legal Counsel has to do is to communicate its judgment out. If you read how the statement of the General Legal Counsel itself was carved, it was as if the General Legal Counsel was set out to achieve some propaganda rhetorics. It was set to push a particular agenda, and that subsequently had influenced the wrongful media reportage that has ensued. And for me, I think that this matter, I'm appealing to the Ghana Bar Association. They should not allow this disbarment to stand, because it's going to set a very bad precedent. If all lawyers in this country are going to be disbarred or subject to such severe punishment based on this evidence, then the precedent, I don't think there's any lawyer that can survive this. Just a second and I'll wrap up. So I'm appealing to the Ghana Bar Association please, the Ghana Bar Association should not be a dormant institution. It must be seen as an institution that is advocating for the interest of its people. The evidence and the circumstances behind the disbarment of Mr. Samuel Nekwetete cannot stand in this regard. The Ghana Bar Association must come out very strongly and ask the General Legal Council to reverse the decision. Of course, we must uphold ethical standards in the profession. Of course, we must advocate for that. Yeah. But that must not undermine the principles of natural justice. Thank you. Fair hearing, and also promoting the interest of justice delivery.
All right. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for the opportunity. Real quick on this one, on the matter of the GLC and Mr. Wyoming. I think Wyoming has the courts to call on and wait for justice. I think the legal counsel also have their day in court if Wyoming takes this case. These are the real issues. Look, I think Wyoming faced the laws of the land and the courts, and he was judged. And so he was put in a box. So perceptions around Wyoming has been one line. So some people might misjudge this issue. But I think the legal counsel, the Ghana Bar Association, they have rules and they have ethics. I'm sure they also have thought through some of these rules and ethics, and that's how come they took this action. I think that if the courts ordered him to actually maybe leave the matter, or they might even fine him if Wyoming is wrong. But usually, when the other side turns to the table, I want to see people who took these decisions, like members of the General Legal Council. What happens to them? Is it only that we record it as an error or something? No. In other countries, some people are asked to step down. You have to resign honorably for one case that went wrong. You should step down. And so, we shouldn't see it as a normal error. Look, when judges and those senior people in the legal realms make mistake, it takes people's life.
It does, yeah.
My late uncle, during the days of tribunal, my mother stood at where that place that we used for the banquet hall. This is a very hurting family issue, I'm telling you. So my mother had the power to stand. State House. It used to be the tribunal grounds. My mother had the powers to stand and tell the judge. The judge was a mate of my uncle, but he was allowing their processes to go on. The day they were coming to call the matter, he called the matter and said, my uncle was actually innocent. But the man died out of pain. Yes. So my mom stood and broke our protocols and told them the man you are freeing is dead. So some of these matters, it affects people's thinking, it affects families, it affects images. So if you come back and say, look, Wyoming, the Nekwetete is clear, the money must stay, it shouldn't end there. We should climb further. People must be made to resign. And if it costs, I'm looking carefully at judgment debt or something that turns around. When it comes at the state, maybe there was a poor judgment, and people must be made to pay. We have to surcharge people after taking certain decisions. So, let's follow through.
Alfred, just a quick one. Mr. Nekwetete was not a lawyer on this case on record. He was not involved in the decisions that led to the payment of the money. He was not a lawyer on the case. So, for example, my brother, if somebody has a case with Citi FM, maybe with Citi FM, and you a worker, you are not involved in the transaction, you are not working on the transaction, and your wife enter into a private arrangement with the person. First of all, to establish conflict of interest, you must prove that, yes, the person put himself in a situation where his private interest could conflict with his professional responsibilities. Right. This time around, the guy had no professional responsibility on that particular case.
But that's why I've stated that, clearly, when like you stated rightly, I believe in letting, for the way forward, I propose, the courts must be allowed to work. Sometimes I tell people, when I see people going to court, that's the beauty of democracy. That's the beauty of our legal systems, testing of our laws. Let the courts work. No man is above the law. Let us all face the courts. This back and forth raised in this matter, it questions the competence of our IOCO. of our CID and our other investigative bodies and our courts. Look, respect to all these institutions I've mentioned, but you would expect that a matter like this should be within their catch. Nekwetete's wife, Nekwetete's siblings, some people around. If you wanted to investigate and question all these people, they were all around for you. Look, we are paying people money. People have cars that they are moving around with. They have Motorola's. The people are sitting in air conditions with all state allowances to them. And this matter, the man Wyoming, he didn't run anywhere. He was around. It is about documents. Pick the document and cross-check. With all respect to them, these are basic issues we could have done. I mean, we can free ourselves of this, you know, calling for witch hunt. This is the, look, the Bar Association, a member is going through this. What's your take on it?
Nothing.
Can there be a talk?
Nothing.
Look,
We've
let's
never
allow.
heard from them.
So finally, I'll tell you, when it comes to recouping losses, you will see that, like, even though I understand where my brother's pain is, and then when it affects one, it affects all. It could be tomorrow. It could be me, or it could be him. That's why he's worried. But when I hear recouping losses matter, then I stand firm. And then people talk about issues of witch hunting. I've told you the other time, and I'll say it today on this platform again. I don't even want the witch. I'm looking for the devil. I am not in for the witches. I'm looking for the devil. And this, I mean, when you go to the files, you realize that there are people who actually break the law once or twice, and there are the kingpins who are sitting down, the main people who play the game. Let's go for them. So far as the witches and the devils have been proved by the law-abiding citizens, and also providing information that the investigative bodies can prove. Let's prove and ensure that, look, some of these matters, they serve as landmarks. If the man, Wyoming, and his team, they go to court, and it's proving that, look, they have a case, I don't think somebody must just see it as an error. People must be held for their actions.
All right, thank you very much. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, there's more on the news review segment. Don't go anywhere. All right, welcome back. It's still the news review segment here on Breakfast Daily, and my guests are Jeffrey Okansi as well as Mr. Thompson. And we're getting into the issues that we're going to do the next story. But I'm here to announce, I'm going to do this from citynewsroom.com, but I'm here to announce campaign team today. All right, and the flag bearer of the New Patriotic Party, Dr. Mahamadou Bawumia, is expected to present his campaign team to the National Executive Committee and the National Council of the party today, Monday, the 19th of February 2024. Now, the names of the members of the campaign team are expected to be announced after this meeting. Now, according to Citi News sources within the party, the former Minister of Local Government and Rural Development, Dan Botry, is likely to be named campaign manager for the 2024 general elections. Now, Mr. Dan Botry was part of the ministers who were relieved of their post last week in a reshuffle done by President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. It is unclear if the possible campaign manager position has anything to do with the reshuffle by the president. However, sources close to the NPP flag bearer say the decision was made after broad consultations with the rank and file of the party. Jeffrey,
I think
things are warming up.
You know, for 2024, I have heard a few of my friends who will never talk about politics. I mean, some of them, they see it more like, you know, it's a stress matter, that's not their field. But I've seen the enthusiasm, the interest, you know, and majority of them, not only because of the economy, but there's a growing interest. I think the social media has also brought some excitement. A lot of things you see on Facebook and on other social media platforms. I think it's giving some look to our politics. For some time now, I'm also seeing international eye. You know, there's always been the Kodio and the rest of the people who come in during the election. But for the first time, I see some of my Nigerian friends trying to compare our situation to theirs and, you know, see our reactions, what the junior brother is going to do, you know. And I think these interests are going to guide some of the things going on. So when the vice president comes out to name his team, some of the names, you know, we suspect. Some of us, you know, these are our schoolmates. I have a few schoolmates around both political divides, and you know, so yes, Opon Kuma is my junior from Pope John, and from Citi for all as well. Okay. And Anthony Cabo is my friend from Nooks. these are people in student leadership. I met some of them. Some were way behind us, so yes. So I look to see, some of the young people who are enterprising enough to be named in there, to see how they also maturely manage themselves, given the opportunity. But I look forward to see a team that would actually work to make sure they look at what they want to achieve. And then I see on the other side, because you can see the NDC also has a sharp team also working and talking what they want to do. And so when this team is announced, there will be a competition. I'm expecting to see some of the names I'm hearing. Ghana and grapevines. We are already hearing
a lot of
who's going to be the campaign manager and who's going to be, spokesperson, So the euphoria is around. I see this as a growth of our democracy, the processes that we are doing. Other countries are going to be emulating and seeing. Some will also watch closely to see how, Dr. Bawumia is fairly younger. So we'll see how whether his young age will affect.
Even though he's not that young.
He's not that young, but I mean, when you look at his age, I think he's the youngest so far I've seen, for the run for this year. I've heard of President Mahama, his big brother, and then also maybe I've heard from this other the butterfly
people.
They are the three people I've heard so far, talking about coming to the big race right now.
Okay.
But I think it will be a good thing. It's actually a carry forward of our democracy. That's the beauty of it. But we are very, very, as CSOs and citizens, this time round, we are very, very interested in who will be leading our country.
Okay. Reza, so,
well, nothing is going to change. I mean, you can't reshuffle a government for almost 8 years, and you want us to be excited about campaign team. First of all, look at the people who have run the government, and how they've run this government, and how much pain they've inflicted on us. And so, if a Ghanaian who today is buying fuel at exorbitant prices, can buy fuel, can afford 3 square meal a day, what does he care about Mia's campaign team? Especially when the guy is in a position where he can take decisions that can actually bring... Why are you people laughing at me? Why?
No, go on. We're listening.
What I'm saying is not the truth.
It's your truth. Speak your truth.
You can buy fuel, eh?
Oh, buy fuel. I bought some yesterday.
Yeah, you're a rich man.
Well, we buy it, but to how we
you're a very
feel
rich
after
man.
buying
No, you're a very rich man. Your pocket is good.
But everybody's buying. Have you not seen the Yango and the boats?
Eh?
They're all buying.
Yeah, but that is not how much we want to be buying our fuel.
Okay.
I mean, this is, and the impact it has on all of us, on the economy, on our ability, our disposable income, our ability to afford, our daily lives, And so you expect that the people in government should be more focused on how to fix these problems and not to tell us who is going to lead their campaign. And if you look at how the campaign has even started with the promotion of fake news, trying to go on social media and take somebody's policy. I've seen a lot of the things they've done about this 24-hour economy announced by the former president or by the opposition, and then they are tagging, making all manner of claims and jokes about it, trying to create some disinformation campaign. As a government in power, I think your focus should be on, for me, they always say incumbency disadvantage, but I think incumbency is an advantage because you're a government in power. You've done certain things. You have the ability. It's up to you to communicate the things you have done. Focus on the things you have done and how you intend to improve on the things you have done to bring comfort to the people, that will attract confidence and people to vote for you. But when you have the government in power, fixated on the policies of the opposition and trying to say it is not done. I saw Abu Janapo saying all manner of things that 24-hour somebody could not deliver 12-hour economy, and so the person cannot do 24-hour economy. So you have the power now, what have you done? What have you done now? If somebody cannot do what he says he will do, let us, we the citizens, the voters, decide. But you that you have the power now, what have you done with the power you have? How much comfort have you brought to us? Have you that you have the power, have you even created a 2-hour economy for us? Today we have a zero economy in Ghana. Our pockets are zero. There are no jobs. No businesses are not working.
That we are here. It's a business that's working.
We are surviving. Oh, really?
This is a business
but
that's
you people,
working.
as for Citi, you are rich. You have rich friends. So
God bless your mouth.
you can. As for Citi,
no, we don't have rich friends. We hard work.
You are not part of Ghana.
And,
Citi, you are not part of Ghana.
Of God.
You understand?
We are not part of Ghana. Eh?
You that you are in power, you haven't even been able to give us a 0-hour economy. You are saying that somebody's 24-hour economy, he can't even deliver 12. So you that you are in power, give us something. Give us something. Give us. You see, and so when I hear people with power making promises that vote for me and I'll do this, like Bawumia came to do at that time, vote for me and I'll cancel e-levy, vote for me and then I'll reduce taxes, vote for me. Are you serious? If you can reduce taxes, why not do it now? If you can bring comfort, why not bring it now?
Decision maker for
is he not chairman of the EMT?
He is, but he has to do everything. Has to be the final decision. Backstops with the president.
The backstop. Who told you?
Yeah, of course, the backstops with the president.
You see, why do we call it the executive?
No, listen. When you say
why do we have cabinet?
He's the head of the economic team. It's fair enough. He's in charge of that, but he has to run everything by the president before he takes a decision. He cannot, of course, he cannot take a decision by himself. You make it look as if it's like he's a final decision maker as far as everything to do with economy.
So you are saying that Bawumia cannot influence anything in government? Is that what you are saying?
No, he can influence. Of course he can influence. He's vice president.
So why doesn't he use that influence to help reduce the taxes? Why doesn't he use the influence to help bring...
Do we know that he has not tried?
He has...
No, I mean, I'm asking. I mean, do we know? Because you're saying that why doesn't he
brother,
do
we
so?
don't care.
Do we know that he has not...
We don't vote for people to come and try you. We vote for people to come and give us solutions, to give us results.
That's why he's saying vote for him. He will come and give you the results.
Which, it's over to Ifrano Pao.
Okay.
Okay,
guys.
If we've given you 7 good years.
Yeah.
And we've handled this economy 7 good years. What have you done with it? And how has the results encouraged Ghanaians? Because if you had performed, you won't struggle.
True.
And so, I mean, as for Bawumia, I don't know how he's going to run this campaign. I don't know what message he's going to sell to Ghanaians. If he likes, he's going to bring Jesus Christ as a campaign manager, and Joe Gabriel as a spokesperson. Nothing. The value is the same.
Okay. All right.
You show us the value of what you can achieve. And for me, I expect that from now to elections. Especially when we know that this president is fading out, we expect Bawumia to be in charge and to show us things. In fact...
Yeah, but he's not in charge. He cannot be
If he's not in charge, how did he get the president to remove some ministers and put his people there?
No, but the president is doing his own reshuffle.
Who told you? Who told you?
So
is it not Bawumia?
This is another conspiracy.
Is Amin Anta, the finance minister, not Bawumia's boy?
Most
of the people who have been appointed are not Bawumia's loyalists.
Wait. You do realize
why are the ministers? Why are the ministers who did not support Bawumia being kicked out? Why are the DCs who did not support Bawumia and Bawumia's candidates in the primaries? How are they being kicked out?
You do realize that, right?
Whether he's a final decision making or not.
Yes.
I'm saying that if Bawumia can use his influence in government to get the president to sack some ministers and put his loyalists and to sack people who did not support him or his candidates in the just ended primaries and put these people, that's the fact, my brother. You can't bow your head in the sand. This is a fact. So if Bawumia can influence that, but he's sitting as, telling us that as for the taxes, I can get the president to reshuffle his ministers and put my loyalists there. But when it comes to the taxes, I don't have any influence. I don't have any power. So vote for me, and then when I come, I'll come and change it. I mean, what sort of unanswered story is this?
Yes. Okay. So this one here says quickly, good morning. Seriously, Ghanaians are going through hardship, and we voted for the MPP to solve our problems. MPP led by Nanado and Bawumia put more problems on us. This is wicked. Education has nothing to write home about. The health sector is zero. ECG, water problems, ECG problem, water company problem. Now they want to break the 8. This is Abuchi from Keta. All right. Jeffrey.
Well, for the roads that, we're going to see improvement, I think it's...
Let me just quickly show you this
in the day.
before you go to that. The government releases 150 million Ghana cedis to patch roads. This is on the Anchor newspaper. I have the Ghanaian Times also says here, government releases 150 million to contractors for road maintenance. Okay, so it's all about patching of holes, and I don't know if that's good enough. Again, the new finder says government releases 150 million for road maintenance. So it's not, this one is not about building new roads, it's about patching of holes.
Right. So it's good news, especially when we get to a stage. I mean, we got to a stage where our roads were rather unworthy. You know, we pay roadworthy.
Yeah.
Because
so your car has to be worthy of the road.
No, but
now the roads
were not worthy for our vehicles, and we were paying roadworthy. So if there's going to be corrections, I think it's good. The situation of poor roads in the year of roads was marveling. They declared the year of roads, I think 3 years ago.
2020.
Yes.
That's when it started.
So we were hearing year of roads, and then we were driving through ponds. Some of them were not potholes. Judge me not wrong. I can take you to some. And there were some, in Accra, I was telling my wife the other day, I could sit back like this and show you some potholes. They are like gods, demigods. They don't end. Golf house area, there's a pothole there.
Shiashi Golf House.
Shiashi Golf House.
Okay.
Just when you turn, over there.
Yeah.
They tried concrete, they used bitumen. Just yesterday when I was passing there, they're very concrete, they have tried bitumen again. And I'm asking, so in the country Ghana, there is forgive my words, there is no wise man to think that maybe it could be a clay deposit or something in the ground, that they have to dig the whole place and then refill it with some rocks or something and surface it. That is one place. In front of Achimota police station, after the traffic light area, there's another Debbie God there.
For years.
Every time, when it rains heavy, that demigod, you go and meet it over there. When you go somewhere around Ridge, there's another demigod there. And I ask myself, like, how does it happen that in the heart of the city of Accra, if you see the Spintex Road, when you are coming, just after Papaya, there's another shrine there. I mean, so I sit back and I ask myself, these are people who sat in school, they studied, you can't manage this one. I mean, and for some of them, they are very dangerous. One tick and lives will be lost. And you ask yourself, I mean, what is happening that we can't, just nip these ones in the bud? What are the issues? These road issues, funding. I ask myself, you stop the road tolls. Revenue Mobilization Africa, we had a discussion around the tables. We told people, look, you remove the road tolls, yes, traffic issues, and I thought it was an opportunity to make it more progressive, roadworthy. Now divide the class. We spoke about luxury vehicles. And then they brought the luxury tax. I repeat on this platform again, they did not listen to what we were saying. We're talking about a vehicle like Bugatti, Rolls-Royce, Maybach. Classify them luxury vehicles. Looking at the worth of the vehicle, the make of the vehicle, and not the engine capacity. That is how come they didn't listen. So at the end of the day, some waste management vehicles were caught in the web.
Of course.
My uncle's old Nissan Patrol was also caught in the web. That retiree's car. But you see, sometimes I tell you, it is not by mistake. It is deliberate. Sometimes they think we are young, but and so we lack the thinking. We are not ignorant. We are smart. Look at a Bugatti. Look at a Rolls-Royce. They make of their vehicle. Negotiate with them. Let them pay more. Make it more progressive. Uber cars, another range. The saloon cars, another range. Commercial vehicles. We have Uber, we have taxi, we have Trotro. I mean, you can arrange them, classify them. While you are moving forward, when you make this very, very constructively well, at the end of the day, the funding, the road fund will be sitting there. You get this at the roadworthy point. Penalties. Look, the lunacy, the truancy on our roads is absurd. And even if you made it just 10 cedis per fine, Get these NAPCO people, give them gun cameras at the bus stops. There are some drivers, they are recalcitrant. They will misbehave constantly. Let assemblies have these guns, employ these young people. They offend 10 cities, 20 cities. If you pay 50 cities in a day because you are a truant driver, by the next few days, orderliness will be on the road. We'll get the money we used to fix our roads. Finally, the poor construction.
Yeah.
They construct roads, my brother. And in 3 years, look, the road in front of my house was constructed just in 2020 during election time. Come and see the ponds on the road. That's what we are talking about. So it's our also the usage. You know, there's this mixer trucks. I don't know where you've noticed the mess they are causing. The concrete mixer trucks. Have you seen some of the mess they cause on the road?
Sometimes, yeah.
I mean, on the dummy stretch, sometimes, I think when they go offload, I don't know how it happens, but once they drive on the road, there's a mess all over on the road. They drop it and then they mess the road. We know the companies. Tag them, find them. It's another way of raising money. And then look, sometimes I think the overcharging. Have you looked at the cost per whatever meter that...
Overcharging of what?
The cost of fixing the road.
Okay.
Even the potholes we are talking. Go through how much they are charging for the works that they are going to do. Bloating the budget. If you check that one alone, it means when it should fix about, let's say, 10 feet.
Yeah.
And you overcharge it to fit the 10 feet. That means you had the opportunity of fixing 20 feet.
Yeah.
Finally, I think, look, let's progressively charge the roadworthy, like I've mentioned. Let's be cost efficient, as in awarding the contracts. How much it should cost, we should think about it.
Okay.
There should be proper supervision and monitoring, so that when they construct the roads, we clap for them. And then in 3 days, we are driving through ponds. We are begging.
All right. Mr. Thompson, you get the last bite on this one.
Well, I'm surprised that my brother Jeffrey is lamenting, you know, about this luxury vehicle issue. How can a group of people who interpret review as cancellation, why are you surprised that that same group of people are classifying Bolaka as a luxury vehicle?
What are you alluding to?
I mean, it's not rocket science. If a group of people who explains or understands review to mean cancellation, and those same people are classifying Bolaka as luxury tax, as luxury vehicle, and charging them for luxury tax, you know. So, I mean, you see, when it comes to this government, it's like everything is just one fat joke, you know. It's like everything is just one fat joke. 150 million to fix potholes where? In Greater Accra alone? In all the 16 regions? Which particular potholes?
Yeah.
How much is the cost? Where is the assessment? And how does even this make the news? You see, because this can only make the news when you have a government, you know, that doesn't work, that has nothing to communicate, and so every little thing. When this country in 2016, 2015, under President Mahama, you sleep, you wake up, and the roads have been fixed, the potholes have been patched. But a certain president at the time, when he closed from office, he get one security guy, ride a motorbike. Mahama was doing that. He would ride a motorbike across the streets of Accra with a road minister, and they will fix those potholes. You have a president who can't even stay awake till 9 p.m. But even at the daytime, he's sleeping. And you expect your potholes to be fixed. And so, I mean, if you release 150 million, and at the end of the day, I can assure you, my brother, I can assure you that 1 month down the line, will come back and sit here and lament over these same potholes, which they say they've released $150 million.
Doesn't the government owe the contractors more than that?
Yes, but so you have contractors who have abandoned site.
Yeah, so the contractors
because
are
of
being
lack of
owed
funds.
more than this amount. So this amount, what is it really going to do?
You see, and so this whole gimmick, because it's an election year, and so
so I think if I got the two of you, what you're saying is that in the year of roads, we are getting patches instead of construction.
by this, my brother,
it's no longer year of roads. You know, roads was 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023. 2024 is not year of roads.
See,
I haven't heard them say it's year of roads.
Anytime this government, anytime they give us a theme for a budget, they deliver the exact opposite of what they tell us.
What are some of the themes? Ahoto budget.
You see, Ahoto. That was the year Ghanaians we suffered in this country. The year they brought Asempa budget. Remember Asempa budget? That was the year they took all our monies in the banks.
The bad news.
I mean, you see, when they give you a theme, then they'll serve you the exact opposite.
But guys, we cannot live without, have you seen the Minister of Finance's letter he wrote to the staff of the Ministry of Finance?
The one where he was saying he was
The departing notes,
appreciating them, yeah.
Honestly, with all due respect, if I were him, I wouldn't have written that in the letter.
But he said they have achieved.
Why not?
Anger
He said,
and the Bible
I saw the
verses.
news.
Why not? I've seen it. It was one of the.
He said they have achieved a milestone.
As if he was spiting those of us who were complaining about the economy over time.
No, but the guy has been elevated.
Listen, guys, listen.
The guy has been elevated, so he's excited.
But he could have kept quiet.
I am just curious as to this because 150 million doesn't sound like a lot of money.
Ghana cedis, not even dollar.
Yes,
it's
Ghana cedis, you know. And I'm just thinking about it. When you mentioned road fines, it made me think. You know, the UK raises about 400 million pounds from fines in a 5-year period. Why are we? We are not.
Let's write a proposal and take that contract. We need a few guns from China,
anyway,
and then we just see the recalcitrant.
I want to say a big thank you to you.
And we find them.
Thank you very much for coming through. Manchester United won, you're in a good mood.
Yeah, 2-1, yes.
Yeah.
But Chelsea,
interoperability is helping Mensa Thompson too.
Yeah,
so
you believe a solution. You believe a solution.
But she said it.
Somebody will wake up one day and cancel over 4 million subscribers.
But they're really registering.
We have a message here. No, at least you can talk to your wife. It will be cheaper to talk to her. Albert Appiah says, I entered a pothole this morning and the entire front section of my Corolla shook so much. Why would we be paying COVID levy when our roads are like this? What are they trying to tell us? They live so detached from the reality of Ghana that our problems don't seem real to them or bother them. Mensa, thank you for asking that. Potholes where? That's a good question. Which of the potholes are we fixing? Is it Accra? Is it a part of Accra? Is it in the whole country?
They won't tell you,
it's
so that they'll
crazy
go chop the money and come
how
back.
some potholes are older than half of the population of the country. That's an interesting line.
We'll go and chop the money and come back.
It says it's interesting how some potholes are older than half of the population of the country.
Yeah, those old ones. That's what I'm talking about. They keep reoccurring.
Thank you for coming,
And
Jeffrey.
yes,
and thank you to you.
Yes, and let's say happy birthday to
And,
Mr. Dankanamo again.
You didn't bring a cake for us to celebrate this guy.
So
but he's not here, so
we
we'll end
joined
up
this
chopping the
morning
cake.
by Mr. Mensa
But the
Thompson.
cameraman here will celebrate
He's
it.
the Executive Director for Alliance for Social Equity and Public Accountability at SEPA, and Jeffrey Kabute Okansi, the Executive Director for Revenue Mobilization Africa.